Good morning, everyone. It is 11 o'clock, so we are going to get started. I have a half hour and a lot of information to cover. I just want everyone to realize what's out there, and then if there's more information or you'd like to have a further discussion, you'll have my contact information at the end of this webinar. You can contact me and we can get something scheduled. So I am Ken Reinert. I'm a SOLIDWORKS electrical software expert and an elite applications engineer. I am actually on my 20th year in the VAR community. I have quite a bit of certifications, so I am quite busy. But today we are going to talk about the electrical PDM connector. There is one for SOLIDWORKS Electrical Professional, and there is one for SOLIDWORKS PCB. And this enables you to connect to SOLIDWORKS PDM Professional. Doesn't connect to standard, you need PDM Professional. And then we're going to cover both connectors, how they're installed, what they look like, the functionality, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. We might run over. But again, you'll have my contact information so we can continue the discussions at a later date if need be. So we're going to start with the electrical PDM connector. And the official definition of this is that it's an integration that connects SOLIDWORKS Electrical with SOLIDWORKS PDM and allows managing electrical engineering information in a central place. And what the connector does is it gives that familiar SOLIDWORKS PDM ribbon bar within SOLIDWORKS Electrical application itself. So how does it get there? How is it installed? It's actually part of the SOLIDWORKS PDM administration. So the installation files have to be requested through us. It's not part of the initial installation of electrical. It's a separate installation into SOLIDWORKS PDM, and it gets installed under the add-ins. So when you select the add-in, you're going to get 3 tabs to choose. This is where you're going to start setting up that integration. So under the General Settings tab, the first thing is always use default root folder. This is that every time you check an electrical project into the Vault, it always goes to the same folder. The library synchronization, that is if you want to have your electrical manufactured parts components that you're using within your project to be placed within PDM. This allows you to do where used on those. So if electrical component gets obsolete, you can do a where used on it to see what projects within the Vault that component is part of, so you know where you have to replace that component. The next thing is export settings for PDF. So you can either have it automatically export a PDF, excuse me, as one book per folder or book that you have, or you can just have one PDF that includes all the books within. The next option is your drawing, so you can either export DWG or DXF, and what version do you want? And with the PDF, with drawing, with the bill of material settings, archiving the electrical project, they are all options that you choose. Do you want this to go into the Vault or do you want? And I'll show you how that is done. So for bill of materials, if you do want to have the bill of materials go into PDM, so within electrical, you know that you can export bill of materials as Excel or text files, and you can also just have the report part of your project, so they will show up within the PDF or within the DWG drawings. But if you want a separate PDM bill of material, you can have them be imported into PDM by location, by component type, or just have one total bill of material per project. And then you can include parts, cables, or harnesses. So it really gives you control of what type of bill of material do you really want to put into PDM, and again, if any. The next is the File Structure tab. This is where you choose what files that you want to automatically get imported into PDM Professional. So you can see on the left under Files, there's your bill of material, your purchase parts, so your manufacturer parts, your manufacturer cables, your DWG or DXF drawings, your TEW zip file, which is the archive of your project, or the PDF files. So you can see over on the right, this is where you map the attributes from SOLIDWORKS Electrical to SOLIDWORKS PM that being called out in reporting within PDM, within your data cards, anywhere you want those attributes to be. So within the connector is where you pre-map the attributes that you want to call out within PDM. So let's take a look here. So I'm just going to fire up electrical here. And I'm just going to create a new project. So I'll just use the one template that popped up here. So this is one way you can just start, just like you would any other project within electrical. So I'm just using a template that already has some schematics and components and single line diagrams and stuff already started. One of the benefits of using templates within SOLIDWORKS Electrical. So as it fires up here, again, we're just going to, start like you would normally start if you didn't have the connector installed. So you can see up here, I have a SOLIDWORKS PDM tab. So it's with all your familiar commands for you PDM users out there. So your open, your check-in, your checkout, undo, get latest version, search, show the data card, things like that. So I just opened this from a template. Now I want to get it into the vault. I'm just going to check in this project. So because my option is not set up to use that default folder, this dialog pops up to where do you want to place it within your vault. So I'm going to say put it under electrical projects. So in mine setup, I want to create a PDF, and I have the bill of materials set up, and I want the archive of the project. I do not have DWG option turned on. I'm going to go in, turn it on, and then we'll check it in again just to show you how it works. So I'm going to say add, and this dialog box is giving you tabs of what is it doing, what process is it currently in. So here you can see step 8. It is exporting the data from SOLIDWORKS Electrical. So it's creating the PDF, it is creating the bill of materials, it is archiving the project for me. So it's doing this in the background for me automatically, and then it's going to place it into the vault in that location I specified for me automatically. So now once it's in the vault, it's visible for everyone. So anyone that has rights to the specific folder that you're placing all this information in can now see the PDF. They'll have access to the archived files, view the bill of materials. So basic PDM functionality here. So it's just creating everything. Add a comment if you want. So I'm going to check it into the vault. So now that it created all that information, I'm now saving it into the vault. And let's take a look into the vault. So I have it under my electrical vault. I put it under electrical projects, and here I have my folder. So this is how I have mine set up, that it is going to put what, it's going to name the folder whatever the project name is. Mine's set up for a bill of material tab. So if I go on bill of materials, I set mine up based off of location. So each location has a bill of material, and it's going to come in as is. So if you have a location that doesn't have any components like this one here, it's not going to show anything within that location. So if I go back to electrical projects and I go back one to electrical, here's my SOLIDWORKS library, my components library. So if you choose to place your manufacturer parts within your library, it is recommended that you create a specific library that gets synchronized to PDM. So in other words, within SOLIDWORKS Electrical, you are going to have your, I'm going to call it R&D library. So all of your components that you load from your libraries, from the electrical component, or you create manually, are all going to be within that SQL database that SOLIDWORKS Electrical looks at. And then you're going to have a library that your production components are going to be part of. So you're only synchronizing the components that you actually use within the projects into the PDM Vault. That way, if you go to the electrical portal and you're downloading Rockwell automation libraries and you're getting like 1,000 components, but you're only using like 50 or 60 out of those 1,000, you're not syncing all of that other information that you may or may not be using. You're only putting in the vault what you're actually using. So if I go to, you know, like circuit breakers, because I was on there, if your components are not tied to a class, they're just will be out, or a subclass I should say. So if I go to magneto here and I just select on one and then I do a where used, this is showing me everywhere it's used. It's showing me the bill of material that it's in. It's showing me the project that it's in. So I can see if this component is obsolete down the road, which projects that I'm working on do I have to replace this part. So it's a nice feature. So if I go into my administration tool and log into my electrical vault, under add-ins, this is where the connector gets installed. So here, this is where I set up my library folder, which I'm in currently. This is where all my manufacturer components are going. And I set mine up to have the library to PDM demo library. Obviously, you can name this whatever you want. So my BOM settings are by location. I have everything coming in. And then I have file structure. And you notice I do not have drawings here. So if I right-click and say Add, I have drawings, or I have other objects I want to, I can add to create as well. So I'm going to say drawings. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to say OK here. And I'll just minimize this. I will go back to electrical, and then I am going to check out this project. It says it is not checked out. Oh, so I got to hit checkout, not undo checkout. So I'm going to check out just the project. Not worried about at this point all the other things. Now I'm going to check in with that option of DWG turned on. So here you can see it is creating automatically all those DWGs. So if the only reason you want to create DWGs is just so other people can view them, you might want to consider just having the PDF. I'm a big component of keeping the vault clean. So, you know, this is going to create all these files that then have to be managed. So if it's just for viewing reasons, I would just do the PDF, but just to show you how this all comes in. So now it's creating all of those new objects which are in the vault. So now it's exporting all that. So it's creating all of those DWG files, and then it's going to save it in the vault, and we're going to get the standard dialog box up of what do we want to check into the vault. I do recommend, if you are looking at this avenue, to use the connector that gives you a little more functionality than what the out-of-the-box PDM solutions have for electrical, that you get us involved so we can have a conversation to talk about the data cards, what information you want in the data cards, the mapping, things like that, just so you totally understand how it works, how the mapping works, and things like that, because we want you to get up to speed as quick as possible. So now if I go back into my vault and I go under that electrical projects and I go under this projects, I now have the two books as folders and the DWG files within my vault, and obviously it can view it because it is PDM, so PDM can view DWG files. So I do have mine set up, my data cards. So if I go back one and I look at my archive of it, I got names. So whatever you map will come across. So the PDF, and then if I go to the preview to the PDF, it's one file. It's a lot smaller than all the DWG files. And then I can also see the bill of materials. So some people choose to import the bill of materials. Some do not, because if they're part of your reporting, they will show up within the PDF as well as all of the drawings. You still have hyperlink capability that electrical automatically creates, which is nice. So within the preview, you can hyperlink all around. So real quickly, because I got to move on to PCB, this is a connector. So it is giving you the capability of putting your manufacturer components within here, so you can manage those, the ones that are in production, do where used. It's putting in your archive project. And the way this is meant to work is that once a project is checked in to the vault, within electrical, if I close this project because we're already checked in, you don't want to leave it within your project manager. And the reason is, this is not in PDM. This is within the regular electrical SQL environments. When I check it in, it is copying this project and creating the DWG files and the PDFs and all that, and placing that information in the vault so other people can see it and things like that. So the workflow would be, once it's checked in and you're done, you want to delete it because you don't want people to be working on this one. So you would just, delete these projects out of the vault. And then you're going to use the PDM Open, because now everything is in the vault. So if you want to work on it again, you're going to open that project from here. You're not going to open it up from the project manager. And it's going to say, do you want to check it out? And I can say yes. So the other difference is going to be is that just like if you're using the out-of-the-box PDM check-in, check-out functionality is that there's a gatekeeper. So that one person is the only person that can check things into the vault, right? Because the whole project is checked out by one person. So once it's checked out, everyone can work on it like normal, but once it's ready to be placed in the vault, whoever checked it out has to be that person to check it in. So now I just opened it and everything, you know, is just the same as anything else. So that is the PDM connector, real quick overview of it. And then we're going to go to PCB now. And that is in the way, so let me minimize this. And we're going to go to the PCB connector. The same but different, right? It's a different application. So things are slightly different but done in the same way. So this one, it creates PDM and allows managing of electrical engineering information in a central place, just like the electrical connector. But instead of a ribbon bar, under File within PCB, you have SOLIDWORKS PDM, which brings you a flyout of your options. So your open, your checkout, your check-in, undo checkout. So the same options that were in SOLIDWORKS Electrical, it's just instead of a ribbon bar, it is within the flyout. So this gets installed the same way. You request the files from us. Again, recommend that you get us involved instead of just, you know, letting her rip, because it is adding an add-in to your vault. And it looks the same, but has one less tab because it's a different product, you know, it's a different genre. So under General Settings, you still get that default root folder. You get the same library synchronization, but the difference is that this automatically will put the components that are part of the board into the vault if you choose to bring over the parts, so you don't have to, you know, create any other library or things like that. So you're allowed outputs. If you have in PCB the outputs configured to bring in, you know, a project PDF or Gerber file or an inside drill report or BOM step file. If that is set up, you can tell it to automatically generate those once you check in a project. So the file structure is exactly the same. This is where you map the attributes from PDM into the PCB, or from PCB into the vault, depending on how you want your workflow to go. So let's take a look at how this works. So we're just going to open up PCB. And again, you can start exactly the same way. So I'll let the splash screen, our home screen, file up here, and I'm just going to, you know, start a new project. Blank project is fine, but my location is in the vault for my location. So I'm starting to save this in there, and it says that one already exists, so let's just call this one like 8, 13, 19, and yeah, we'll keep it the same. So I'll say okay. So we'll create this project, and then I'm going to say let's add existing the project. Let's get some other things in here. So let's go. Maybe we'll go to I'll just grab these and open all these up. So now once this is here, and I'll just compile this so everything gets attached to each other. Then I'm going to pull up the PDM tab. So I go under Project, or under File, and then I get this SOLIDWORKS PDM that's here. And then I'm going to check in this project. This is asking me which vault, because I have multiple vaults. So I'm going to say I want this one to go into the PCB Vault. Where do I want to put it within the vault? I'm going to put it under PCB Projects. I'm going to say OK. And then this one is mine set up that I want the bill of material, I want the zip file, these are my outputs that are here. So if I say OK, because I didn't configure any of my outputs, it's just going to say, hey, I can't create these outputs. Is this OK? I'm going to say OK. And then it's adding all of these files to the vault. So I'm going to let it create all the other ones here. So I want to check in all these. So I'll just say check in. And then if I look at the PCB Vault, I go to SOLIDWORKS Projects, I can see the folder it created, and I can see the files that it put in. So you are managing the project itself. You're not managing the individual files. And this is the same way with electrical too, with the connector. You're just having this centralized location for your projects, and then you're opening the projects from the connector and you are working on it like normal, and then the gatekeeper is putting that project back in the vault. So this creates a BOM folder as well. So if I look at the bill of materials, whatever this project had is shown in the bill of materials. Now, other functionality, because of the connector, you can add like tasks. So like SOLIDWORKS, PCB, do I want to create, a PCB design from here? New Altium project, PCB project. So I can right click and start a project that's here. So I'll just call this project -1 for my project name. Name of the schematic, I'll just say dash, 81319. For the second schematic, I'll just say schematic 81319-2, just give it some numbers. And this one, I'll call it board -1 and say OK. And then if I go under my PCB projects here, here's this project 1, and then I have everything here. So, this is in a state, so I'm just going to select everything. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to check it out. And then within PCB, I'll just right click and I will close this project. And then I'm going to go to, I want to open from PDM, or I can just go to Open Document, Browse to the Vault, because it's in PDM. It's not part of the services yet. So I'm going to go to Projects, Project 1, and I want to open up the project file. So I'm going to say Open. So all the documents are included, so it automatically makes that relationship for it. So now I can compile everything, and then I can work like normal. So if there's multiple people with this, the collaboration and everything that's on there. So again, this one has a pullout. It's not a ribbon bar for everything. It has all the PDM functionality you would be familiar with. Within electrical, I can do the same thing here, except these could be my templates. So I can say I want to start with an ANSI project, you know, hands-on test drive, IC. So if I just say I want to create this one here, I can give it a name. Maybe I'll just call it hands-on test drive. Same thing for this. You know, and I'll just say, okay, so obviously fill in any information that you want on that data card. So this is saying, hey, okay, just making sure you're going to call this hands-on test drive project. Is that okay? So I can say create file. So if I go into on electrical projects, if I go into this right here, it created my hands-on test drive. So it created my project. So within electrical, all I need to do is use that PDM tab now to open that file. So I'm going to say open. And I'm going to go right to this project and say open. Because now all of my projects are going to be in the vault. So I'm not opening. So the mindset is you're not opening from the project manager within electrical unless you didn't check in the file. If it's checked in, you always want to open it from the vault and you want to delete it out of that. So while this is loading, are there any questions? You can put them in the chat. That's okay. I probably don't have a data card link for it, but everything will open. You know, so everything opens up fine. So as you're thinking, you know, you can put your questions in chat. I'll also give my information at the end of this too, so we can have, you know, a more one-on-one conversation. I know this was a lot in a minimum amount of time, but I just wanted to show you, you know, it installs a little different. It's in the admin tool. Your manufactured parts and components can be in the vault. So you get the benefit of the where used. You get the benefit of the secure collaboration. Everything's going to be organized and efficient. You can use all of the nice template functionality and API functionality that's within PDM to automate some things. So you get your automation, you get your where used. You can manage the bills of materials separately if you want, or just have them part. So it gives you a lot more flexibility of how do you want electrical or PCB information to be shared throughout your organization.